Well, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to episode 23 of TAY'S TV. And stay tuned, we have a wonderful show ahead of us. On this episode of TAY'S TV, we head on up to Minot and meet a woman battling Parkinson's disease. However, she hasn't let her diagnosis dull her shine. Her story is coming up to you right now on TAY'S TV. Welcome in everyone to episode 23 of TAY'S TV. I'm your anchor, reporter, producer, everything else in between. I'm Taylor Austin, and this is Leo. He just had to be in the spotlight today, so here he is. He's my little co-host, and he's just going to be joining me. So say hello, Leo. He says hello, but I am here apologizing to you guys again. I did promise that there would be a story in the month of March, and it just didn't happen. But here we are in April. I'm not giving up on my passion. I'm just giving myself grace. I don't want to give up ever on my passion of telling stories. So I just want to continue to do so, but I need to allow myself some grace as time goes. So I just got to go with the flow sometimes. But I'm sure some of you may be wondering why I'm dressed like a disco ball. Some of you may not be wondering because, well, I'm usually dressed a little bit unordinary, but there is a purpose for this. It is Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, and the color for Parkinson's Disease Awareness, the ribbon for it, is silver. So hence the silver colors. But Parkinson's disease is an incurable disease, and it's neurological. The woman whose story I'm about to tell, Holly Jacobs, has been battling the disease for around 12 years now. However, she hasn't let her diagnosis dull her dazzle. Check it out. Holly Jacobs was born in 1971 and raised in Minot, North Dakota.
It was the days that you could ride your bike all the way across town or walk out everywhere, and it was perfectly safe. You left your doors unlocked, cars running.
She was the oldest out of 3 children that her parents had, and her parents did everything, says Holly.
They ran a truck hauling business for a little while, and then they transitioned into like an Uber back in the day, and then they transitioned into a car detailing business.
Holly attended high school at Minot High, and it's then when she would meet the love of her life. However, their circumstances around meeting one another was anything but ordinary.
He was dating my sister. Yeah, on mutual terms. They weren't too serious with each other, but he'd always come over to my house and hang out with my sister, and it just kind of happened naturally, and it was true love.
Holly and Gary fell deeply in love, and after Holly graduated in 1990, the couple quickly got married and began having children.
My oldest is Haley. My second is Crystal, and she's in Ohio. She just graduated with her master's degree. Very proud mama. I'm proud of all my children. My third child is Amber, and she's a daycare worker, extremely good at what she does. And then my son is in the Army right now, kind of over there in that conflict area, so I don't hear from him very much because of that.
Within the span of only a couple of years, they went through many major life changes. They met one another, fell in love, graduated, and even moved to Guam.
And he is a contractor on the base. He's basically, if the crew chief can't figure it out, they go to him, and he's an Air Force engineer.
4 kids later, and 5 years in Guam, they decided to relocate to Florida. They spent 10 years there, where Holly would be the activities coordinator for an assisted living facility. That's when and where a spark was ignited in her.
So that's kind of where I got my feet wet, planning bigger events, and I loved it.
Though Holly had a passion for sparking joy in others, some of that sparkle inside of her would soon fade.
So I was trying to paint a mural on my bedroom wall, and my arm would get so tired. I was like, why is it doing that? And then I would eat my food or my dinner, and my pinky would just start to tremor just a tiny bit.
Holly was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease on February 14th of 2014. And after her husband was laid off his job, he got another offer in North Dakota, and that's when they decided to move back home in 2018.
I ended up in a huge dark depression because I just wasn't prepared for him to go so soon after moving here. And coming out of that depression, I was like, I have to find somebody and something to do.
So that's what she did. Got back out into the community and started to make friends.
I was having dinner or lunch with a friend, and these, little triggers were going off in my head about what I should do. And I said to her, have you ever planned an event before? And she's like, no, but I'm sure I could. I was like, let's do it.
So Holly and her friend got to work. And slowly but surely, that sparkle came back.
I really enjoyed bringing the community together in fun situations and sparking I call it a spark start for sparkles. And I like to get dressed up and be, just be fancy.
Thus, her first fundraiser was born. To Be the Cause, a fundraiser that combined art, support, and awareness. That year, in 2022, she raised around $9,000, and she's kept that average as funds raised over the last couple of years. Each year, Holly finds something new to do and another organization to give back to. Many of her fundraisers involve art and some sort of disease or disability.
What is the benefit of art? Well, it creates the new neurons in your brain, which is something that Parkinson's needs. It has the finger dexterity, which you have to use for, painting and all that. For Parkinson's, you want that fine motor skill. It also helps you keep your brain engaged, and also helps with socialization, because a lot of the times people with Parkinson's isolate because they don't like being watched.
Holly says that not only has she made friends with business owners and other locals in the process, but she's also made a community with those living with PD.
But she said, your paint class has brought my mother back. So that was very impactful for me. So, that I put the light back into somebody's life that kind of lost it along the way. And that's what I try to do, is put the light back in your life, and you do the things that you want to do. Life is too short. Sometimes I overdo it. I overdo it a lot, actually. And then I have to stay home for a couple of days and recoup. But I just can't sit still.
Holly says that's what keeps her going, the community and the support that she has behind her.
And then there's other people that, like Chappie. She supports everything that I do, and she's such a good someone to look up to for, women in business. She is what I would say the key person to inquire about that. And then there's other people that do weird things that become an asset to you. And then there's the volunteers that like to come back year after year to volunteer for what they're doing. And then there's the artists.
Although she has a lifelong diagnosis of a debilitating disease, Holly Jacobs continues to bring a sparkle of hope to others around her.
Just because I have Parkinson's doesn't mean I have to stop, but it's also encouraged me to do these things for people in the community and step out of my comfort zone and learn new techniques and new tips, and plan incredible fun parties and all that good stuff. So it has a positive side to it as well. And that is one thing that I like to do, is look for the positive in everything that I do.
Holly Jacobs is a sparkle of hope and inspiration to all. And that's why she's episode 23's person worth praising. Reporting for TAY'S TV in Minot, I'm Taylor Austin. What a wonderful lady. I just love her so much. But I swear it's always those who have the brightest souls that seem to suffer the most. Holly, I just want you to know that I'm praying for you and your continued journey. And I just want to say I'm proud to know you and someone like you. And it's just wonderful to see how you've not only served the community around you, but you've also served as an inspiration to the Parkinson's community as well. So that's just amazing to see. I just want to say thank you to Holly for allowing me to share some of your story. Now, for those who may not know my story, my mom suffered from Parkinson's disease for around 10 years before she died from disease-related struggles. And I shared with Holly in our interview that I have to wonder if it's because she stopped moving around that the disease got worse and worse. She lost her job because of the disease, and after that, she started to isolate herself, and that's when things really started to progress and the disease got really bad. This disease is no joke, you guys. North Dakota remains in the top 5 in the nation for the rate of Parkinson's disease. Research suggests that this is due to our state being so ag-oriented. They say that the inhalation of the pesticides can cause the disease to start. Right now in the United States, there are around 1.1 million people living with PD, Parkinson's disease, and that number is estimated to rise by the year 2030 to 1.2 million people. And to this day, there's still no cure for Parkinson's disease. And that's why you should go help support a good cause and a fundraiser that gives back to the Parkinson's community. This weekend is a great time to do so. Miss Holly is hosting an event at Superior Nutrition in Minot, and all of you are welcome to join in. Saturday, April 11th is World Parkinson's Awareness Day, so she's teaming up with Superior Nutrition and saying sploosh it. Another way of saying F it, but we're going to keep it PG. But that's what she says it means. Sploosh it is another way of saying F it. So, people will be gathering in the parking lot and splatter painting alongside some tunes. And again, in her interview, like Holly said, art can actually be really helpful for people with neurological diseases like Parkinson's. So it's going to be a good event for all to attend. If you can't make it this weekend, don't worry. Miss Holly is usually hosting events throughout the year to give back to those in need. Her next big fundraiser will be in October, and that's raising money again for Parkinson's disease. And this one's going to be a pageant this time around. You guys can check that out and all of her other upcoming events on her Facebook page or her website, and both of those links will be inside the description of this video. That's all I have for you guys today, but be sure to tune in again next time when I do have another story. And I have to say thank you all so much for continuing to join in and even support TAY'S TV. I never ever want to give up on my passion of storytelling, so I just want to say I love you all and help me out. Go like, share, comment, subscribe, sell your soul, whatever you guys have to do. Engage with this post in some sort of way, and it helps me. So I truly, truly appreciate all the engagement. But we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We brought Leo back in to say goodbye. Say goodbye, Leo. Goodbye.